Hello everyone, welcome back to another brand new Azure tutorial videos. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to deploy a Django application to Azure Container Apps. This video is going to be pretty interesting is because I'm going to be showing you something new. So first of all, what we're going to learn, we are definitely going to deploy a web app to Azure Container Apps. This is something we did in our previous videos. If you did not see my previous video, I will highly recommend to go and watch it. You can find the link in the video description. After that, the most interesting part is to configure the auto scaling. How to configure the auto scaling in Azure Container Apps. And after that, we are going to run some perf tests against our application to validate our auto scaling rule, whether they work or not. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a bit of load testing, K6 framework. This framework is pretty new, I would say, compared to Zmeter. This is written in JavaScript and it's very simple. You can learn very easily. I'm going to be pushing my code in GitHub, so if you're interested, you can play with this. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Without further ado, let's get started. So our application looks like this. So this is what is actually running right now is Azure Container Apps. This is the link we got with HTTPS endpoint. And against this endpoint, I'm going to be bombarding huge number of traffic so that we can test our auto scaling role. I'm going to create a container app to deploy our Django application. In my previous video right here, I pretty much walked you through about Azure Container Apps. Therefore, I'm not gonna repeat most of the stuff. So if you are new to Container Apps, please go ahead with this video. And after that, come back to this video to understand it better. So I'm gonna call it tag with Azure. And this time we are going to choose container image. And here the region is going to be US East. I'm gonna go to container, and in here, in our previous video, we actually used quickest image, but in today's video, we're gonna go with the image that we push to our Azure Container registry. So first of all, pay-as-you-go subscription and registry, tag with Azure, and here you can see it already cannot access SCR because admin credential on the SCR are disabled. So we're gonna fix it, no worries. So what we have to do, I need to open up a new tab and need to go to Azure Container Registry and click right here. So we are going to go to access keys and from here to admin user. And this is something I showed you in my previous videos as well. You can find the link in the Azure playlist videos, and this is the password. So I don't need to copy the password at this point. Should be enough to just check mark this particular option, admin user. Passwords are already generated, so if you don't want to regenerate, you do not need to click in there. Access keys, and if you click here, you can see it's automatically saved. There is no save option. If we go back here and now we try SCR, and then this, it actually doesn't work. So you need to go back and click back to container, and this time try to see if this works. So now it works. So you just need to refresh the page. So hello, and we are going to use the latest tag. We do not want to override the command. And development stack is specific features. So we are actually good with the generic one because our application is not Java based, so we are absolutely fine because it's Django based. And workload profile up to 4 vCPUs and 8 gigs of memory you can choose here. As you can see, consumption rate. So we are going to go by the minimal, smallest spec that we could go for this demo video. Next, we have to go for the bindings. You can go either clicking here or you can say next bindings. So if you go to the binding, I also talked about it. So this is going to be more about the database, and we do not have a database at this point. Therefore, I'm not going to add on anything. Cancel it, go to the ingress. Here I want to actually expose my application to the world so that anyone can browse to my page. So I actually enabled ingress type going to be HTTP, and this one I'm going to say accepting traffic from anywhere. So this is the one I'm going to choose. And client certificate mode, for this one, accept, require, I can say ignore. Transport is going to be auto. You can choose HTTP2 if that is the case for you. I do not want to allow an insecure connection. Target port, let's say 8080. Session affinity, I do not want to enable this. So what it means basically, when HTTP request comes from a single client are going to route to the same replica. So this is basically the sticky session. So let's say the first time when a user is browsing to my page and the request is served by replica number 1, next time when this very same user browses to my page, its request is going to be routed back to replica 1, not to replica 2. That's what it means. I don't really want that. So go to the tag and then review and create. So I'm going to review and create. So it's going to deploy it. In between, what we want to do, so let's see how much time it takes today. Should be pretty quick. Okay, let me pause the video and I'm gonna come back when the resource is up and running. Okay, so whole deployment has taken roughly 1 minute 26 seconds, more or less. So we are going to the resource. So if I click here, it takes me to the Azure Container App. And the one I'm actually interested in is this one. You see, we got the HTTPS endpoint, and this is something I'm going to copy. And if I go here and browse to this page, and it takes a little bit time. The first time when you browse to this page right after you provision the container app. So if I click here and I go back to the containers, I should be able to see some information like in the containers. Nothing is in there yet, nothing is in there yet, nothing is in there yet. I don't see anything in there. So in the scaling part, I'm going to scale this one to max replica is going to be 4, minimum replica, meaning that when there is no traffic in my website, I should not be running any replicas. This way you can save some money. So this is basically the replicas specification I'm going to configure. And here the scale role, I'm going to actually add a role in here. Role name, let's say test role, and type is going to be HTTP scaling. This is what I'm going to choose. And here you have the option to configure your replica. For example, if I get, let's say, 50 concurrent requests on a single replica, then the next replica should be fired up to handle the traffic. So let's say if I have got 200 concurrent requests to my web page, then 4 times 50 meaning 200, right? So there should be 4 replicas fired up to handle the traffic. So this is what I'm going to add, but if you want to add like 60, let's say, then you can also put 60. This is what I'm going to put. If we get 60 concurrent requests in our web page, then the next replica should be fired up. Okay, so save as a new revision, and I'm going to click on that, and now I'm going to play with this. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna bombard my application. And how do I do that? Actually using some load script, and this is a framework. K6 is a load testing framework. If you are familiar with Zmeter, this is a similar one. So I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so this is my HTTP endpoint where I want to generate some load. What I'm going to do here is to check the HTTP response if I'm getting actually 200 or not. Okay, and here I got 3 steps in my load test, and the test should be running for 2 minutes. So the number you see as a target is going to be the virtual user. So virtual user means is basically going to replicate an actual user. So the first 30 seconds of my test, I'm going to start with 80 virtual user, and then after 30 seconds, the next minute I want to run with 200 virtual users, and then the last 30 seconds of our test total is like 2 minutes. So after 1.5 minutes we want to ramp down to 0 users from 200, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send a lot of traffic to my web page so that I can really test. So now we said maximum replica is going to be 4, right? And minimum is 0. Here revision and replica is, you can see this is the activated one. There was something wrong. Okay, 100% traffic is going to be show replicas. You can see everything is good. There is nothing ready. Why? Okay, our page is not working. Right, 080. So it should be working here. Okay, let me see what did I actually have in my Django Docker file. I cannot remember. So let me go back here. It is actually port 80. So actually this should be correct. It seems like this is not working. So we need to fix this first. And to get it fixed, we need to make sure that we have the right port assigned to it. So first of all, we want to see what we have done here. So everything looks good to me. Environment variable is nothing. Ah, yeah, that's the wrong port actually I have assigned. As you can see, I did a mistake. So I need to get it fixed. So how do I fix it? So liveness proof is actually checking 8080 when it should be actually. Okay, so how do we actually get it fixed? Let me see here. So if we go to port 80, it should be fine. I have to change it, okay? Affinity, we don't want to do this, so let's save this, and after that, this should be working without any issues. So let it deploy a new revision. I believe that's what it's going to do. Okay. So it actually did the update successfully. Okay. And here we can see two replicas. Let's see what is happening. And if I just go ahead with this, it had a restart. Try this. Yeah, this time it's working. I actually mistakenly put the wrong port because in my previous videos I think I tried with 8080. So now what we're gonna do, instead of browsing, I want to just simulate this using this script. So what we're gonna do, we are going to go back to K6, and I updated the endpoint here. So we're gonna run this K6 and then you do the run command and then pass the name of your file. So load testing JS. So if I now run this, what it's going to do is going to send a lot of traffic. So you can see the virtual user is now 20. This is like 10 seconds of time, and I'm going to be explaining to you just in a second what it means if you're not familiar with this, with the output of the test summary. And here it says that up to 200 looping we use means virtual users for over 3 stages, and the graceful ramp down is 30 seconds that we have, and graceful stop, these are like default one, 30 seconds. So you can see now we are at 118, and let's go back to this page, and here you are gonna see something interesting. So what are you gonna do? Replica count. So if I go here, you can see replica is 2 right now. It was just here a while ago, like 732. Now it's here. So it should go up. If I go refresh. Before that, we want to go here as well. So the test rule, we had 60 concurrent requests, and we will have a lot of requests in there. And you can see current number of replicas. It already shows 2 replicas in there. So it's actually triggering to handle the traffic, new replicas. And active revisions are these. We are actually sending 100% traffic. In active revision, we do not have any. All right. So see what has happened now here. The views maximum was 200, right? And minimum is 200. This is how we set it. And 12,000 something iterations. So each time when it goes through, then it becomes like 1 iteration. So if you see here, the HTTP request we send per second 99.96, and total 12,032 requests we send. And here it gives you the total duration for each request that it took to serve us, and there was no failure of any HTTP request. Okay, and this many data was sent and received, you can see here. So this is what it does. If we wanted actually to make it a little bit interesting, we could do it something like this. The role we could make like, let's say 20. So this time you're gonna see a little bit more interesting stuff. So I'm gonna run the test one more time. This time you're gonna see a little bit more replicas are provisioned to handle the traffic. So if I go here and click, you can see we got 3 replicas. So it did actually fire up 3 replicas. Let me refresh it. Another operation is ongoing. Okay, that actually got deployed, so we should be able to see it. So it's not loading it for some reason. So if I go to the matrix one more time and I want to see the replica count, it should tell us where it was. So at this point you can see we got 2 replicas. So we had one was running here, there was no replica. Here we got 1 replica. At this point we got 2 replicas. So we had 2 replicas. Okay, no problem with that. So this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the test one more time, and this time you're going to see more replicas to handle the traffic. Here it doesn't actually update it, unfortunately, but in the matrix it shows 2. It could be 3 actually. Here I cannot see it, the total number, and these are the health probe, so you don't really need to care much about it. But let's try this one more time and see how this works. So to give you some kind of understanding how you could configure the auto scaling, let's say you have a web page and you notice traffic actually spike up in the evening. So in such cases, you could start with minimum replica of 2 or 3 if you wanted to do hard start. But if you want to do some cold start, then you can do definitely scale down to 0 replicas. 0 replica means cold start, meaning that the container has to be created and fired up, and then it will be able to serve you. The hard start basically means that you have always a running container, and when it doesn't serve any customer actively, it will be idle. So there will be separate builds for idle container. Okay, so we already fired up the test. This time we should see something more interesting. Let's refresh this. This time you can see 4 replicas. Okay, oh okay, now we can see it is loading it. So this time you can see we got 4 max replicas, and this time if 4 replicas are not able to handle the traffic, the latency may increase a bit, right? Because our containers specification is very poor in the sense that it got 0.25 vCPU and half gigs of memory, right? If you wanted to have more powerful container, you can put like 4 vCPU and 8 gigs of memory. Of course, this is going to incur more cost. So this is how you can test your application to see how your application actually reacts when traffic spikes up for a certain period of time. So this is what I wanted to show you in this video. I'm going to be pushing this code also in my GitHub repository. If you're interested, you can play with this. If you're new to my channel, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.